Emma hated the new house her family had moved into. It was old, creaky, and the windows always seemed to rattle, even when there was no wind. But the worst part was the shadow. Every night, as Emma climbed into bed, she noticed it, a tall, dark figure standing in the window across the room. At first, she thought it was a trick of the moonlight. But when the shadow moved, she knew it wasn't her imagination. One night, Emma decided she'd had enough. Armed with a flashlight and a baseball bat, she crept toward the window. As she got closer, her heart pounded in her chest. The shadow didn't disappear. It seemed to grow. Emma took a deep breath and swung the flashlight beam toward the window. What she saw made her gasp, a black cat sitting on the windowsill, its sleek fur blending perfectly with the night. It stared at her with glowing green eyes before leaping away into the darkness. Relieved but shaken, Emma laughed at herself. Maybe the new house wasn't so bad after all. But the next night, the shadow returned. This time, it was even taller and seemed to be moving closer to her bed. Emma's heart raced as she watched it, unable to look away. She knew she had to do something. The following day, Emma decided to investigate the history of the house. She went to the local library and found old records and newspaper articles about the property. She discovered that the house had once belonged to a reclusive artist named Mr. Blackwood, who was known for his eerie paintings of shadows and dark figures. Intrigued, Emma continued her research and found a journal written by Mr. Blackwood. In it, he described how he had become obsessed with capturing the essence of shadows in his art. He believed that shadows were more than just the absence of light, they were living entities that could move and change shape. Emma's curiosity turned to fear as she read about Mr. Blackwood's final days. He had become convinced that the shadows in his paintings were coming to life and haunting him. The journal ended abruptly, with Mr. Blackwood writing about a shadow that had appeared in his bedroom window. Determined to get to the bottom of the mystery, Emma decided to confront the shadow once and for all. That night, she set up a camera to record the window while she slept. She hoped to capture evidence of the shadow and prove that it wasn't just her imagination. As she reviewed the footage the next morning, Emma's blood ran cold. The camera had captured the shadow moving across the room and standing by her bed. But what terrified her the most was the final frame of the video, a dark figure standing right behind her, its hand reaching out toward her shoulder. Emma knew she couldn't stay in the house any longer. She packed her bags and convinced her family to move. As they drove away, she glanced back at the house one last time. In the window, she saw the shadow watching her, its green eyes glowing in the darkness. Emma never forgot the shadow in the window. It was a reminder that some mysteries are better left unsolved, and some shadows are best left in the dark.